Good morning and welcome to the Sunday Show on your channel of choice, Africa Independent Television, AIT. We are glad to have you join us again. The feedbacks are encouraging and we urge you to keep them coming. Last week, we brought you the evolution in the Nigeria's Air Force, showcasing the first set of cadets that enrolled into the service in 1963. Their experiences and expectations. During the week, the organized labor suspended its planned protest over federal government's approval for increments in the telecommunication tariff, not forgetting the increments in the 2025 budget proposal sent to the National Assembly by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, the week was an eventful and perhaps interesting one, we must admit. But today, on your favorite show, we have a thought-provoking topic for you. It is that which is very vital to our existence and deserves all the quality analysis it can get. But before then, permit me to welcome my associate anchor, Makwen Joseph. Good morning. Your week was beautiful.
Very well. You said it. You said it. It was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
We appreciate God for. We appreciate God for everything.
Sure.
We'll keep pushing.
We have good health.
Yeah.
And we are here again. Hallelujah.
Good morning. And indeed, the week recorded quite interesting events that one cannot easily wave aside. Perhaps, for the first time, a returning officer in Nigeria's general elections was charged to court, tried, and convicted for falsifying electoral figures. It happened in Akwa Ibom State. In the same vein, the Nigerian Senate approved a request made by President Tinubu seeking to sack 3 resident electoral commissioners who were found to have violated the nation's Electoral Act. Many have described the actions as commendable, while others believe the sanitization of the electoral system should be holistic.
Oh, sure. It should be holistic, but at least it is starting from somewhere. Or what do you think? It has to start from somewhere.
Definitely.
Have you ever been worried about the quality of food and other consumables you eat on a daily basis? How sure are you that you are eating what your body really needs? Does one's age determine what he or she can eat at a time? To what extent should certain food be heated before consumption? These are the issues and questions we shall be addressing on today's edition of the show. Our guest who will join us via the virtual space is Dr. Bumi Olorunfemi, a United Kingdom-based Nigerian. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned as we refresh your memory on the major items that made the news during the week. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It's still the Sunday show on your channel of choice, AIT. For want of time, let's join Dr. Bumi Olorunfemi, who is standing by for the conversation, and it's going to be a robust one. Stay tuned.
Yes, it's still the Sunday show on Africa Independent Television, AIT. Today we are looking at a very, very important topic. And of course, I will let out what we're discussing. Of course, you heard it on the script. And my guest this morning is Dr. Bumi Olorunfemi, a UK-based medical doctor and, of course, a Greek entrepreneur. Glad to have you join us. Good morning, Dr. Bumi.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. So we begin this way. First of all, a lot of us might not know what food hygiene is, but as somebody who is in the food processing, food industry, should be able to enlighten us on what we need to know. So food hygiene refers particularly to the practice that prevents microbial contamination of food at all points along the chain from farm to the table. And how can one sustain the hygiene? It is your line.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes, your definition is quite apt, really. And the safety and hygienic presentation of food starts from the farm.
Yes.
From the farming technique, from harvesting technique, and even ranging from the farm input, fertilizers, pesticides that are used, because there are some pesticides that should not be used. So the food itself needs to be safe right from the farm. And there are some soil types that actually contain some what we call aflatoxin as well, which is tested for at the end of production. So I'm making sure that once the food is harvested, it's preserved in a way that is not getting contaminated, getting spoiled, transportation to the market. And when it gets to the marketplace as well, the hygienic position needs to be maintained so that it's not issues around safety from rodents, from other bacteria and other fungi is maintained. And then once it gets to the market, then it's now open to the consumers. And the consumers can be people that are going to process it into food, wholesale food, or people that are going to sell it, or people that are going to consume it at home. So when it gets home as well, you need to look at how the food is prepared. And then the preparation stage can be both for commercial use, hotels, restaurants, personal consumption at home. So along that line, there's need to maintain some hygienic practices, making sure that the food are kept safe, right temperature, enough water to keep it clean, to wash and keep it clean as well.
Okay.
So and then preparation. So there's a lot of, it's quite a
wide whole lot.
area.
Doctor, I heard you mention pesticides, and I heard you when you said we're asked not to use pesticide. I want you to expatiate more on that, but I want to take a very short break, and I'll be back.
Grab your seats and join us on the most fascinating 60-minute infotainment journey, showing on your favorite TV channel, Africa Independent Television, AIT. Analysis on topical national issues, news, sports, and entertainment are on the menu. It's a show you do not want to miss. It is The Sunday Show.
Okay. All right. Doctor, I did ask a little question. I said, you talked about pesticides. And of course, you also said that you are asked, or farmers are asked not to use pesticides. Can you please expatiate more? Because we discovered that a lot of these food products, farm products rather, get decay most times as a result of either the pesticides or whatever was used as preservative.
Yes, there are different kind of pesticides that are used. Some are chemical, some are organic, some are approved, some are not approved. So there are some, basically it's because it depends on how long it stays on the food, because some of them will not actually break down into harmless components. They become, when consumed, can be injurious to the health. But so people are discouraged from using such, there are quite a few of them. People are discouraged from farmers, and food preservatives are kind of discouraged from using such pesticides. And there are other ways of doing it. There are organic ways of preventing pests from damaging the food process. So there's a lot of stringent regulation there, which can be tested. So it's not that they are strictly prohibited, but there are some that are not permitted to be used. And the farmers, the food producers, they are aware of that. And the regulatory authorities from local government level to NAFDAC, Federal Ministry of Agriculture, they do a lot of outreach and extension work to support farmers to ensure that they use the right tools and pesticides that are banned should not really be used.
Okay. All right, doctor. Let's talk about the nutritional value of some foods, because the nutritional value of some consumables are lost when overheated over a period of time. And let's talk about, why is that so? Do they become injurious to the body or to the human's health when heated continuously?
No, each food item needs appropriate temperature. Some cold temperature preservation, some is a high temperature preservation. And in the preparation process as well, for example, if you want to cook your vegetables, your ugu, if you cook it too long, you will lose the greenness,
Okay.
and becomes less nutritious because some of the nutrients there will be denatured, destroyed, basically. So that's why you don't overcook them. You like them not green. So it is because of the nature of the nutrients, vitamins and other nutrients that are there, that if you overcook them, they can get denatured and can become less effective in the body. So you want to maximize what you gain from your food. But having said that, of course, when the food is prepared, it needs to be kept at the right temperature. If you finish cooking your fried rice and you leave it in the room that is too warm, by the time you get there, the following day it will be full of fungus and slimy. That's because the right temperature has not been maintained. It needs to be cool. So at the same time, the food like meat, if you leave them for too long as well, they can get spoiled if they're not properly preserved. So protein tends to stay long because, of course, you use plenty of heat to preserve them. So dry meat, dry fish. So those items can be like that. And then other vegetables can be frozen to maintain their nutrients rather than boil them for too long. They can be frozen and preserved. And fruits and vegetables, generally, they're better eating fresh. And so the right temperature depends on the category of food you are talking about. Fish as well, they need different temperatures for preservation, otherwise they get spoiled quite easily. So you need cold room when they are still fresh. And then if you want to dry them, to prepare them, you make sure they are dry. And they don't get infested with bacteria and other
Doctor, you are simply making me hungry this morning, this mid-morning.
I was
mentioning fried rice, fried chicken, fried meat, everything. It's quite interesting, but would you want to say that with the situation in the country or all over the world, is it still possible to be able to, for people to be able to eat good food or the kind of food that they want to eat with the economic situation that we are faced with, most especially in Nigeria today? Food that can keep our body with good nutrients.
I think it is in Nigeria we are quite lucky because our agricultural system is quite robust, and we have all the different varieties of food, both carbohydrate, meat, fish, and they're all available. And chicken and poultry is available as well. So they are all available at cheap, affordable prices as well. Or you may not, if you can't get chicken, you may like fish, although they are all quite expensive, like you rightly observed. But they are also source of protein. You can still maintain a good diet with the available protein. A lot of people are doing fish farming, poultry farming, rearing chickens. You know, our local chickens in the village. If you just the matter of just walk into the backyard and pick one chicken and then the soup is ready. How many people? So,
That is for those who have space. For those who have spaces in their backyard.
Yeah. So, but that's most of our Nigerians live in the rural area, the urban centers. So that's where people can do fish farming, and they can. But they are very good source of protein. It's just that some people will it's not until you eat meat, eat beef meat that you are eating protein. So the person that is eating fish is also eating protein. So so the goat meat, there's sheep meat, so it's not just cow meat. So the variety, there are different options really, but yes, it's more difficult. I agree with you. It's more difficult to maintain a balanced diet, but with good management of resources, and one can still be able to maintain it.
All right.
Vegetables as well.
Doctor, you made mention of the difficulty in maintaining this balanced diet. Let's talk a little bit about food combination. Nigerians are very good with combining foods. Let's say rice and beans, beans and plantain. When you want to eat plantain, there are people that prefer the unripe plantain. Some people will prefer plantain and beans.
Yeah.
You know, there are some of these foods. I don't know if it is healthy to combine such foods, or somebody will just do it because he wants to be satisfied,
yes,
or because the food it is just appealing and he wants to eat it at that point in time. Let's just take an example of beans and plantain. Is it healthy for that kind of combination?
Thank you for your question. Our diet in Nigeria, in Africa, is very healthy, and it's been noted by science to be one of the reasons why certain cancers like colonic cancer, intestinal cancers are less in Africans, in Nigerians.
Oh, really?
So it's actually because of our diet is quite rich in fibers. So the eba, the amala,
fufu,
yes, with the vegetables and the okra soup beside it, they are all quite very rich.
Banga
and
soup.
They have significant, yes, banga soup, bitter leaf soup. They all have quite nutritious value.
Maybe we could just prepare some and send across to you over the Niger.
Yeah, absolutely. So the plantain is very good source of fiber as well. Lots of nutrients in it. The unripe one is very good, very particularly nutritious for people that are diabetic and washing their weight and things like that. So the unripe plantain is very good, and so combining plantain and rice and beans, that's a very balanced diet. So yes, and so our diet is quite good the way we combine them. They are very good for our digestive system. They usually prevent against cancer, really, occurrence of cancer in our people. So yes, it's lots of advantages.
Doctor, today you go to different hospitals and you discover that a lot of people, like you rightly mentioned, our combination, our kind of food prevents a lot of illness. Yes, that's true. But most times people are struggling with everything within them. And from the source the food was made to where the food will be eaten, people experience food poisoning. What happened in between the time? From the source where the food is bought.
Could it be the processing?
Could it be the processing?
Absolutely. Yes, it could be the in Nigeria, there's a lot of work that goes behind the scene in terms of maintaining food hygiene and safety. I mean, Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, the Federal Ministry of Health, Federal Ministry of Fisheries, and Federal Ministry of Environment, they make sure that even if they go randomly to the market to ensure that the food is safe and the right kind of food is there. Then the local government level, they do environmental inspections, they do go to the market, make sure that everything is going. Although you may not notice, but they do go there. All the meats that are being slaughtered, they are inspecting them, making sure that they are the right kind of meat, before they get to the market. So even those food vendors, people that cook food, mama foods, the local government officials go to inspect them to make sure that they are in the right environment. And I mean, for example, in my company, the NAFDAC visits, local government environmental officers, they visit us regularly to inspect, to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Now that you mentioned your company, Doctor, in some cases or most times, you are, first of all, let me begin by reminding Nigerians that you are into agribusiness. I still wonder how you got into it, from being a medical doctor into agribusiness, and you are also into food processing. Now,
yes.
This farm produce, either you produce yourself or you go to the market to buy the ones that are already harvested. And most times, when you store the yams, you discover that, because I bought a few tubers of yams the other time, that was some few weeks ago, I discovered that when I go to pick one and cut, it was already like cooked inside. Cut the second one, the same thing. So what do you think would be responsible for that?
Is the temperature storage, it could be because of the age, or it could be because of the temperature. So, and then temperature, because it's infected with fungus from the farm. So the farmers usually make sure that they should inspect the quality of the yam they are bringing to the market. And like I said, the food inspectors go there to check on the market to make sure that everything is there. But they cannot check everything. They do random checks. So when you are buying it, then you make sure that usually when you're buying things like that, you check to make sure that it's the right quality, that it's not gotten spoiled, because they all have shelf lives. So if you put your yam for too long in the sun, it's going to get spoiled. And before they transport it to the market, and then from the market, it's going to be in the open space. So it's about storage conditions. It's very, very important. You need to have the appropriate storage facility, and to make sure that when the consumers are buying it, they are buying the right kind of product, good quality. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done around that line, because it's a significant issue that about storage of our products. A lot of products get damaged and spoiled before they get to the market, creating a lot of losses for farmers and for wholesalers as well. So once in a while, it does get to consumers when they buy the products, and then it depends on how did they store it at home. Things like that just might make a lot of difference. So there's a lot of room for improvement, both in terms of regulatory and scientifically, to make sure that we have proper ways of storing our food products. Tomatoes get spoiled a lot.
All right, Doctor. Let's also. I think it is not news that Nigeria is endowed with human, natural resources. There are particular types of foods that are peculiar with regions in Nigeria. For example, if you go to the north, far north, they have their particular types of foods they farm there. If you go to the north central region of Nigeria, like the Middle Belt, like Irish potato, you can get it from Plateau State. But if you go down south, you get some particular types of food that is peculiar with such these regions. And we must give it to Nigerians. Nigerians are very hardworking when it comes to farming and agriculture. How would you want to encourage the government to come in so that Nigerians will have a bumper harvest? Because at this point in time, everybody in Nigeria, all the farmers in Nigeria, they're doing their best to feed themselves and to get a little bit extra to go to the market so that they can take care of themselves, maybe through trade by barter, or they will sell some of their produce and buy what they need to also augment the little they have in the house. I think it's important the government comes in so that they will encourage these small-scale farmers to expand in their production. And by this, I'm very sure it's going to positively elevate the nation economically.
Absolutely, you're spot on. Well, I would like to just emphasize that the government is already doing something along that line, but they need to do more, basically. Because like there's hardly every local government you have Department of Agriculture, state government you have Commissioner of Agriculture, Minister of Agriculture and Food Safety, Food Security. We have a Federal Minister of of Agriculture and Food Safety, and then we have ministries and departments that are looking into all that. So, but the government needs to do more. Our different sectors of the country have different crops, food that can do well in their area. For example, it's difficult to find palm trees for palm oil in the northern part of Nigeria because of the weather, the condition of the soil as well. So you tend to have them more in the coastal areas and the rainforest area. So food crops like grains, they tend to do better in the northern part of the country, granules, millet, corn. And the food crops like yam do better in the middle belt and the southern part of Nigeria, cassava as well. So, and then we have our livestock do better in the north, and we have a lot more livestock in the north as well. So fisheries more in the south. So it's comparative advantage. But
very well.
The government needs to continue to encourage the farmers, and especially around the area of security, because a lot of the small holding farmers, the insecurity in some parts of the country is preventing them from being able to maximize their outputs. Go to the farm. Yeah, so that's insecurity is an issue that the government needs to do more, because a state like Niger State or even Benin State can feed the whole of Africa.
The food basket of the nation.
Absolutely. One of those states can feed the whole of Africa. I mean, not just Nigeria. The land that they have there, but people need to be able to go to the farm without fear of their lives. So for their lives, and so the government needs to do that, and then input support in terms of funding need to be available that we get to the farmers. From my understanding, really, and the government interventions are not particularly getting to the actual farmers, so the government needs to look into it to make sure that the real small-scale farmers are getting the real support they need, both in terms of monetary equipment. A tractor can make a lot of difference in the local government.
Very well. And another thing is some of these agricultural institutions are already getting extinct. We used to have extension workers back then. We used to have agricultural institutions where people go there to learn to be experts in the agricultural field. But now we don't even see these institutions. They don't even appear in the map. Because when you are in such institutions, you get to learn the basics, and you get to learn how all these things are done. And when you are done from school, you will go out and apply this knowledge. And when you apply this knowledge, you expand the scope from being that person from the local region, and with the education you have, with the Western education you have, you will come and apply it at your local government or at your village, and it will expand you. So I think it's also very important for the government to do more. As you said there, it's doing more. It is important to reawaken these particular institutions so that it will also contribute more.
Yes, I totally agree with you. With regards to those institutions that are research institutions that the government has established, they are all there, but I think they are just most likely subsumed in bureaucracy and administrative work, and not more making much impact. But they are all there. They are there. Civil servants are there. I visited the Cyril Research Institute in Patigi about 30 years ago when I was still in Nigeria. There are very sound professionals there that are doing research about rice and other cereals there. And it is about getting their output of their research efforts to the farmers. So that's why I said there's a lot that the government needs to do from talking. We need to see actions, making sure that for example, I mean, if you had asked me what to do, every local government, you can invigorate, revitalize, strengthen the agri department in each local government.
That is to say, everybody has to go back to the land.
Yes, but all of us cannot be commercial farmers, but at least we should
produce what you can. What you
there are
eat.
agribusiness, there are different chains, there are different things we can do along
All
the
right,
line.
Doctor, in one word, today we have a lot of genetically modified. How healthy is it for us to consume? In one word, as a round off.
The genetically modified food, it depends on what has been modified. Some of them are quite safe because some of them are modified to prevent infestations, to make sure they last longer on the shelf life, make sure they are the nutrients and they're able to fight diseases. Some of them are fortified with vitamins to help us. For example, each product we have to be examined on its own merit. But I would think that the regulatory authorities need to make sure that before those products are put in the open space for people to use, to plant, to cultivate, they need to be certified.
Thank you.
And yes.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, thank you very much.
You so
we
much.
Really appreciate you.
We've been speaking with Dr. Bumi Olorunfemi, a medical doctor, who is into agribusiness and then, of course, the food processor. So thank you so much for making our time from your busy schedule to be part of us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
And the session has been very, very engaging. And I think it's a wake-up call to all the authorities concerned, talking about NAFDAC, Standard Organization of Nigeria, you know, all this. They need to wake up so that they will now be up to their game, making sure that this genetically modified food you talked about being brought into the country and they are safe for consumption.
Sure.
Because, you know, just as you said, he said there are some that are safe for consumption.
NAFDA is different from NAFDAC.
Okay.
NAFDA is in charge of that department.
Okay.
Yes.
So it is in charge and they should do what they are supposed to do. Up their game is very important.
All of us who travel, if you travel abroad, you definitely will eat the genetically modified.
But you know the part I like? Beans and plantain.
All right, thank you.
It's a balanced diet.
The program continues shortly. Thank you, Doctor. Do have a fulfilled week. Yes.
Yeah,
bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
That one you could drink water on top.
Wave you take.
Truly, what one consumes plays a huge role in the quality of life the individual lives. The state of health, the rate of growth and development as the case of children, as much more people have taken courses on food safety and hygiene to keep abreast with the rights and the wrongs in the feeding. That is how important it is and should be for everyone who values his or her health. There is no doubt that the economic situation in the country is a challenging one to achieve food safety, but that is the truth. A deliberate one effort made by everyone to do the right thing can be useful. Up next is Vibes, Views, Sports, Newsmaker. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Grab your seats and join us on the most fascinating 60-minute infotainment journey, showing on your favorite TV channel, Africa Independent Television, AIT. Analysis on topical national issues, news, sports, and entertainment are on the menu. It's a show you do not want to miss. It is The Sunday Show.
Hello, welcome to the Vibes and Views segment on the Sunday Show. My name is Anu Awojabi. It's time to relax, to some entertainment.
The prevalence of kidney disease is on the rise, and our health-seeking behavior in this part of the world is poor, and so there's a need to raise awareness amongst us. We need, if we have diabetes or hypertension, we need to visit our doctors, our physicians often, so that we have an idea of what our blood sugar or our blood pressure is, and make sure that it's well controlled. Since these two diseases are the commonest cause of kidney disease and kidney failure all over the world. And also, as regards what to look out for, we should avoid eating of very salty foods. We should make sure that fruits and vegetables become part of our diet. We should exercise regularly, and we should drink a lot of water. Then above all, for the young people, let's try and avoid the use of herbs and psychosocial drugs, which is becoming very common in our environment, as well as things like smoking. We should all stay away from these psychosocial drugs, so that it will help us prevent kidney disease in our environment, since the cause is really beyond us, and so prevention should be the watchword. And so I would want to tell our young people, stay away from psychosocial drugs, stay away from smoking, cut down on alcohol intake, and let us exercise regularly. Thank you.
Grab your seats and join us on the most fascinating 60-minute infotainment journey, showing on your favorite TV channel, Africa Independent Television, AIT. Analysis on topical national issues, news, sports, and entertainment are on the menu. It's a show you do not want to miss. It is The Sunday Show.
We are beginning to see that democracy in Nigeria is like a cone that is being turned upside down. And if a cone, and you turn it upside down, and the top that's supposed to be big, even if it's little roundish, and you manage to stand it, it cannot be so stable. The slightest perturbation, it will fall. And when I listened to senior lawyers like Olisa Agbakuba, who was making comments on some Supreme Court judgments, I felt very sad that the country has gotten to that level. Our plea is that if democracy will endure, the people both at the bar and the bench should not be carried away by political influence. That is the only way. And that is the only way we can stabilize the political process. I know the lawyers enjoy, immediately after election, the avalanche of litigation, because it's like Christmas for lawyers. But most countries doesn't go that way. People don't go to court. But in Nigeria, pre-election matters, election matters. Fill all the courts. And this does not give a good sign for democracy. Comparing Nigeria to other African countries and some more countries outside Africa that have been able to get involved in the electoral processes. So to me, it worries me. In fact, towards the end of this month, I'll be going to Botswana. And when you go and see what others do, and you come back home and see what we do, it worries us. There is a particular judgment that has been haunting, and I need to mention that, luckily I'm not a lawyer, I'm saying that from a layman view. Most very senior lawyers are here, that really turn the cone upside down. And if the courts don't really look into this and rectify it, it will create so much instability in the political system that it could affect all of us. Even those who claim to have succeeded, their victory song will not last long because we will all be victims. Where the courts say a ward chairman can expel a national chairman of a political party. This is not in line with natural justice. The law is to control human behavior, and human behavior must follow how God created systems. And you cannot tell me that a head of department, for example, in a university, can expel the vice chancellor. So how can the Nigerian laws tell me that a ward chairman can expel a national officer of a political party? And since that judgment has been given, it has created all kinds of instability in the parties. In fact, my PDP is into crisis because of that judgment. APC at the time was also into crisis because of that judgment. And I'm not looking at it from a legal perspective because I don't know anything about the law. But when I look at how nature works, I have never seen a system where a subunit can discipline the top. For PDP exactly, of course Baba knows, in the constitution of PDP, if you're a national officer, even your state cannot discipline you. Not to talk about a ward officers that are not even members of NEC, the National Executive Council. And we are saying that a ward chairman of a party can suspend and expel a national chairman of a political party. I'm pleading with the Supreme Court to review their judgment. Because that judgment has turned the cone upside down. And the political processes, the democracy is wobbling.
Wow. We say thank you very much because this is where we call it a wrap on today's edition of the show. We shall return same time, same station next week. And God willing, we hope and pray that you stay safe and have a great week ahead.
Oh, sure. As we have the great week ahead, you know, we're discussing food safety today. And 80% of us who are studio rats, like you and I, who leave home as early as 5:30 in the morning.
And
we
go home
rely
very
on
late.
the food vendors.
And we go home very late.
Yes, we rely on the food vendors for what we eat.
So should we go?
All through the day.
Are we going to eat something?
We are not eating immediately, but I'm serious. I'm talking about something very vital.
Very vital.
So we rely on the food vendors for our intake all through the day. So how healthy are those food we buy from the mama puts, the restaurants close to the office and everywhere? Well,
truth is sometimes psychologically we get attached to certain vendors from their hygiene, from how they render their services and how polite they are. It makes us...
Like that one, me and you and Ricky go that time. Now that one, I ain't there your head.
So definitely, because as it is, when you find yourself asking or requesting for a vendor to serve you, and you're comfortable with the person, that means the person has the person has achieved a certain level of politeness, decency, and hygiene. Okay, so Ricky, let's go. It's time to go have our lunch. Thank you for joining us on this week's edition of the program. Do have a fulfilled week out there. Bye now.